Hi, I'm Alison Raffaele, founder and Chief Creative Officer of Alison Raffaele Cosmetics, and today I'm going to show you all about smoky eyes. Now, recently my friend Sandra, who lives in Spain, asked me, she sent me this photograph, and she said, Alison, how can I get these eyes without looking like a raccoon? And then she adds, hopefully as a joke, easy instructions, please. Of course, I'm going to give you somewhat easy instructions, but like anything in makeup, if it looks really simple, chances are there's a lot more to it. What really makes this photograph beautiful? I just want to point out a couple of things. Obviously, the eyes are really beautiful and dramatic, but this is also a really highly retouched photograph. I mean, really highly retouched. It also is perfect lighting. So if you were to walk around looking exactly like this, in reality, it'd probably be a little bit too much. And this is what we would refer to as beauty makeup or red carpet glamorous makeup. This is a lot of makeup for real life. When you do smoky eyes, you can sort of go three ways with it. If you were to just do sort of normal foundation with those really beautiful smoky eyes, that would be really sexy looking. If you added more foundation and really had a very, very clean canvas you were working on, that would take it more towards red carpet. The other side is if you were wearing no foundation and then you messed it up, you would get very rock and roll looking, very sort of edgy. I'm going to show you all three because what I want you to understand is it's not only the eyes that make the makeup look important, it's also how the skin is treated. And so we'll go through all of that. But to start, let's start with just how you're going to do a basic smoky eye. Okay. Well, number one, we're going to start before I do any foundation because most people have trouble when they're doing smoky eyes with the shadow falling. I'll explain how to avoid that, but to start, you're going to just prime your lids with some transparent finished powder. You're doing this because you can see a little bit of sheen on my lids. You're always going to have a little oil or moisture on your lids. You don't want that. You want your lids to be dry so that the product, the eyeshadow, is going to go on as smoothly as possible. Also notice, I'm just going to point this out real quick, the longer the bristles, the more diffuse the application. The shorter the bristles, okay, the tighter the bristles, the more precise the application. First color we're going to use, I'll hold this up for you, is we're going to start with a medium taupey gray. And we are going to do this all over the eye and into the crease. I'm going to take a good amount, and then I'm going to flick it off. If you can't flick it, you can tap it onto a tissue. I've done this for so many years I can flick it. But if you can see, I don't know if you can, all the excess shadow coming off. You want to work with as little shadow on the brush as possible. That's going to keep it from falling down. You're going to start, you're going to touch your brush to the center of the eye, and you're going to work back and forth like a windshield wiper. First you're going to do the bottom lid, then you're going to go up into the crease. And I'm going to do this pretty fast because this is on video. But in reality, to do eyes, really good smoky eyes like that on yourself, probably take you 10-15 minutes, depending on how experienced you are. The trick is, though, to work from your lighter colors into your darker colors, not to just go straight into a dark color, even though that's what you end up seeing. You need the lighter colors underneath to be able to blend into. So that's one coat of the taupey gray. I'm going to build it now, and I'm going to do a second coat just to strengthen it a bit. Okay, so you see I'm doing here into the crease. And where you want your shadow, just think about it, where you want your shadow ending, the edge of the nose, the edge of the eye, the edge of the eyebrow. That's where your eyebrow should end, and that's also where your eyeshadow should end. You don't want it coming down farther, or else it's going to make you look tired and droopy. Again. Okay. So that's your base gray. Okay. Now we're going to work with our second color, which is going to be a very, very dark charcoal brown. This is Bittersweet. This is warm gray. This is Bittersweet. These are from my original Skin Alison Raffaele line. They're still up on my website. You could also do this with a navy, like Night Sky if you wanted to, but we'll do it the way it's shown here on this photograph. So again, very, very little shadow. Touch to the center of the eye. I'm also not pressing very heavy. one of the things when you learn to do makeup is to learn to really graduate the pressure of your touch. That takes a little bit of work, but once you get it, it just makes doing your makeup so much easier, to have that ability to not, just slam everything into your eye. When you're a makeup artist, it's actually essential so you don't poke people's eyes out. Now you see I'm concentrating this dark shadow on the lower lid, and you see it's not very dark yet, okay? One of the tricks to blending is to really work in layers, not try to slap everything on at once. I know that's generally, people see the end result and they want to get to it in one step. It takes several steps. Some more of the darker color. Again, build it up. Don't try to just put it on. You can see it getting darker. And you want the color to be, for smoky eyes, it should fade. It should be darkest at the lash line and then fade upwards into the crease. And then you really don't want very much of anything up here, unless we go into a highlight. Second eye. And again, very, very little shadow. You see, I just keep the brush moving. I'm also concentrating the shadow, you can't quite see it yet, a little bit more at the outer corners. That's going to give you a nice lift. So that is your second color. Third color, to really get your depth. Let's see, I'll use this brush. This is a flatter brush, if you can see. This is going to really help me concentrate where I want the shadow, and I'll go back and I will blend it in with a fluff brush. And for this, we're going to use a matte black, a really black. And you need, another thing here when you're doing smoky eyes, is you need to use really good quality shadows. This is a Kevin Aquan black shadow, because you need a very, very high pigment load. Now you can see how I'm doing this. I'm literally dabbing this black on. This is when it's really important to be tapping off your brush. And if you don't tap off your brush, you will be very grateful that you have not put on your foundation concealer yet, because if you didn't, this would be halfway down your face. Don't panic if that happens. Okay, so that's keeping it here, a little more up. Okay, so we're getting that. Dab, dab, tap, tap. And don't feel bad if you can't flick your brush like me. I don't know where I learned how to do that, but makeup artists have told me over the years, other makeup artists who've seen me teach, say, I want to do that, I can't do that. It doesn't really matter. As long as if you tap off on a tissue, or if you blow it off, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you get the excess shadow off the brush. What matters is that you do get the excess shadow off the brush. Okay, so I've got my basic depth here. Now I'm going to go back. I want to get my shape a little bit more. I want to clean up a little bit more and get into my crease a little bit more. Go back with the black, blow it off. Just, again, you need to work with very little shadow here. I'm going a little too low here, so I'm just going to pick it up with my, there. Okay. One more. Okay. And when I'm doing that, when I'm getting those outer corners and I'm bringing up the shadow, I'm really, I'm starting the brush where I want it. I touch it where I want it, and then I'm literally dragging it in. Okay, so you've got the shadow now where you want it. To blend it out a little bit further so that it looks as though it's fading more into the crease, go back with the gray shadow that you started, your first color. Now go over the crease a little bit, and that will help it fade. Notice I'm not putting anything under the brow bone yet. This also just helps it blend better. Like I said, you've got to blend color into color. To blend color into bare skin is very difficult. Okay. So that's the shadow part of it. At this point, what you want to do is you want to use a little bit of eye makeup remover and just remove anything that's fallen under the eyes. Let's see how I did. Normally I can get away without a little bit on there. Not too much. Most people, if this is the first time you're doing it and it comes back completely black, do not feel bad. It's hard. You just want to make sure when you're doing this, you don't get too hard of an edge right here as you're going from that outer corner to the end of your eyebrow. Okay, because you can, all of a sudden you see this streak, you don't want that. Okay, so that's cleaned up pretty good. Now what we're going to go into is our liner, our mascara, and then we will do some concealer and foundation, then I'll show you the different levels of it. So, eyeliner, black pencil liner. This one is by Crease. It's a really nice soft one. We're going to start by lining the upper inner rim. This makes a huge difference, particularly, strangely enough, in photographs. That's something I always ask people to retouch, is that inner upper rim, so you don't see a gap between the eyelashes and the shadow. Lower rim, okay, that makes a big difference already. Again, upper rim. Lower rim. Now, something I forgot to show you that I wanted to, but I'll show it to you really quickly right now. It doesn't matter. Okay. Now, if you're working on yourself or you're working on a client and you notice your eyes are red and you need some eye drops, best way to do it, particularly if you're working on a client or if you're bad at getting eye drops in your eyes, is literally just saturate a Q-tip with your, Visine, put it in the corner of the eyes, and blink. You can get the eye drops in very quickly, very easily. There'll be enough of the product in there to get the redness out of your eyes. But obviously you don't want bloodshot eyes with really smoky eyeshadow unless you really want to look rock and roll, like very authentic, which is not what we're looking for. Okay, so that's your outer liner. That's your inner liner. Now outer liner. You can do this with a gel liner, or you could do this with a pencil liner. I'm going to do it with the pencil liner. And again, I'm just pulling out very gently at the corner of the eye. And I'm lining all the way in, from the outer corner to the inner corner. You don't want any gaps between the eyelashes and the liner. And then again, we're going to do underneath. I don't have to worry about getting this line absolutely perfect, because we're going to go back, smudge it, and then we're going to go over and we'll seal it with some powder. So I'm going to use my flat brush. Just smudge it on in. Like that. There we go. And now underneath. And we'll clean this up a little bit in a minute. Okay. See, we're starting to get those eyes now. All the way, corner to corner. Don't worry if it's falling a little bit. We still have to put on our concealer and stuff. Okay, mascara. Just basic mascara. You can do lashes if you want to do lashes with this look. I also curled my eyes before this. My eyelashes. Curled my eyelashes. You don't have to do mascara. You don't have to do false eyelashes with this if you want. It's much more glamorous to do false eyelashes. I like them. I think they're very difficult, though, to put on by yourself. And I also think that if you're not used to doing false lashes, you could get all the way to this stage of the makeup and then sort of botch the whole thing by not getting the lashes on right and end up smearing everything. So don't do that. You can put mascara on the bottom. You don't have to. You've got so much black under your eyes, it's not really necessary. Oh, something I did forget. Over the over the liner so it doesn't go smearing all over the place. Let's do some of the, you can do the dark brown or the black, whatever you want to do. Get that. The powder will adhere to the wax and the pencil, and it'll help it prevent it from melting and smearing. If melting and smearing is a really big problem for you, you can always go to a gel liner. Gel liners just require you to be a lot more precise in the line, and they don't smudge as well, and of course smoky eyes are all about being smudgy, so that's why I prefer a pencil liner for this. Also, if you're going to be out all night with a smoky eye like this, you definitely want to have Q-tips and Q-tips and eye makeup remover, a little thing of it in your bag, and your concealer, because there's no way it's going to remain looking like this all night. I'm sorry, you're real, she's a photograph. I have to remind you about that. Okay, so that is your basic smoky eye.